Let me continue. How many problems are over? Third, no. Second. The sin 2x plus 5 is what? Proceed from there. So remember the steps I told you, right? What I supposed to do? First, differentiate, equate it to 0, find the critical points, then find the second derivative, substitute the critical points. If second derivative is less than 0, the critical point is the point of maxima. If it is greater than 0, it is a point of minimum, right? எடுத்துட்டு போயிடாங்க இங்க வச்சு ஸ்டார்ட் right. So those are online. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we'll get started. So which question is this? Third. Yeah. So can you tell me the question? Mod of sin 4x plus 3, right? So how to solve this? Okay. So how to solve? Yeah, that you need to do. But see, let's first try to understand sin 4x is less than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to minus 1. So what should I add on both the sides? I need to add a 3. So minus 1 plus 3 is less than or equal to sin of 4x plus 3 is less than or equal to 1 plus 3. So sin 4x plus 3 is less than or equal to 4, greater than or equal to 2. So what is the least value? Maximum value is So check the answer once. Got it? Okay. So here, the only difference is, see, I need to explain one thing of what happens when a trigonometric function is bound within a modulus. See, in the previous class, I explained you what happens to sine of 2x plus 5. So I explained for sine 2x, you remember? This is the graph for sine x. So what will happen to the graph of sine 2x? It will get shrinked, right? So it will get, it will repeat, the cycle will repeat itself twice. How did we find that? Because of this number 2x, right? So this is the graph for sine 2x. But what will happen if it is sine 2x plus 5? Meaning, the sine 2x graph is there, no? It should get shifted by 5 units upwards. What should happen? It should get shifted by 5 units upwards. Meaning, here, if the graph starts with 0, here it will start with 5. Right? So it keeps going like this in such a way that if you look at what is the minimum value of this on the y-axis, it will be 4, this 4. And what is the maximum value with respect to it on y-axis? It will be 6. That is the meaning of minimum and maximum value. Are you able to understand this point? Okay. So having the same logic, right? Having the same logic, how will the graph of sine 4x look like between 0 to 2 pi? So sine x graph will repeat itself 4 times. So sine x will repeat itself 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, ignore the diagram. So it is 4. So plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, and plus, minus. So there are 4 complete cycles. So this is for sine 4x. But what is the question? Sine 4x plus 3. So when I say sine 4x plus 3, this part will get shifted 3 units upwards. Right? It starts at 3. Right? So this is the graph for sine 4x plus 3. So when you talk about modulus of sine 4x plus 3, no. If at all there were any values below it, that will get shifted upwards. I'll explain what is the meaning of it. Here, nothing is going to shift. Okay. So this is the graph for sine 4x, no. Had the question been mod of sine 4x, what you're supposed to do is, you need to take this negative part and convert it to positive. Meaning, the graph between 0 to 2 pi will have 4 cycles, but not 4 complete cycles. Rather, it will have 8 half cycles. In the sense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what happened here is this part will get tilted upwards. So that is the meaning of modulus of something. Okay. So I want you to understand this because whenever you get modulus function, no, it will look scary, but it's simple. All that you need to do is first think without modulus, and whichever part is below y-axis, just convert it symmetric with respect to x-axis. Okay, I'll make it simple for you. Then I'll come to this point again. Listen to this carefully. If I have y is equal to x, how is the line? Y is equal to x is a line like this, which is passing through the origin, right? When I say y is equal to mod x, what you're supposed to do is, this negative part is there, no, just make it symmetric with respect to x-axis. So leave the positive part as it is. This part don't disturb. This one, just invert it. So when you do an inversion, you will get a graph like this. So is this not the graph for mod x? Are you able to understand? That's what mod says. Mod means everything should be positive. Positive what? Positive y values. Okay. In a similar case, what happened here? This is the graph for sine 4x. No. So what is mod of sine 4x? All the negative values, you need to exactly make it symmetric with respect to x-axis. It can be positive x-axis or negative x-axis. That is not your headache. But there should be no negative values of y present in the graph. Okay. If you look at this question, what has happened? Mod of sine 4x plus 3 is there, no? So here, what is the answer? So since the graph itself is shifted by 3 units, there is no value which is below x-axis. Hence, the graph for sine 4x plus 3 and mod of sine 4x plus 3 is the same. Is that clear? Now, coming to this question, how you're supposed to solve this, you can go with this method. This is accepted. This is accepted. Okay, you can go with this one. So basically, you're doing nothing. You're writing the basic range of sine. What is the range of sine? -1 to 1. So what is the question? Sine of 4x plus 3, right? You need to add 3 on both the sides and then solve it. So left-hand side is the minimum value. Whenever you say something is greater than or equal to, that is minimum value. Less than or equal to is the maximum value. So what is the answer for this? 2 and 4. Okay. I hope you understood all the methods, right? The reason I'm concentrating on the graphs is I am repeating in 8th chapter named Applications of Integrals. You'll be asked to draw the graph and calculate the area. They'll see graphs definitely are not going to be this complicated and all. But if at all it comes, worst case scenario, we have bad luck. If it comes, I want you people to face it. Okay. Those who are online are able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So you can write like this in your exam. So is there any other problem of this sort involving trigonometry? No? Okay. Clear? Shall we proceed? Okay. So tell me, what is the next question? H of x is equal to, let's, x belongs to, this is the question, that's it. Huh? Okay. So what is h dash of x? 1. So 1 cannot be equal to 0 here. Right. So is this closed interval or open interval? Open interval only. Okay. So h dash of x is equal to 1. So this cannot be equated to 0 and you cannot solve it like that. Right. So what is the graph for x plus 1? So you draw it sequentially. So first, what is the graph for y is equal to x? It's a line passing through origin. When it is x plus 1, shift it 1 unit upwards. So when you shift it 1 unit upwards, this is going to be the graph for x plus 1. So where is x plus 1 defined between? When you put y is equal to 0, x is minus 1. So this point is minus 1 comma 0. So this point is minus 1 comma 0. Here you will have 1 comma 0. So what is this point? It will be 1 comma 2 and minus 1 comma 0. Right? You can only go graphically, but it is not being attained at minus 1 and 1. It is slightly attained on the left of -1 and right of -1 and left of +1. So the answer for this question is supposed to be 0 is the minimum value and 2 is the maximum value. But we cannot actually find it. What have they given? Neither minimum nor maximum, because you cannot take that point into consideration. That is why I asked in the beginning. Had the question been x belongs to closed interval -1 to 1, the answer would have been minimum value being 0, maximum value being 2. Okay, because the graph itself would have become a line segment. It would have become a line segment because the domain is restricted. Right? Then the answer would have been -1, 0, and here it will be 1, 2. This will be the maximum value, 0 will be the minimum value. But since here the question is open interval, you cannot define the point of maximum or minimum. So one thing here, the derivative test is failing. So if the derivative test fails, the only option is we need to observe it graphically. Right? So graphically, you will do and see. And there also, since it is open interval, in this question, it is not working. So the answer to this question is no maximum or minimum, because we cannot tell that this is the value. I hope it is clear. So what is the reason why we are not able to say? Because of the domain. Because of the domain. So -1 and 1 are called as the extreme points. What are they called as? Extreme points. And one more explanation you can give here is, since this is a strictly increasing function. So when you want to have maximum or minimum, what should happen? The function should first increase and decrease, or decrease and increase. Nothing is happening here. Okay. So shall we proceed to the next one? Yeah. Tell me the question. So third one, huh? First one. F of x is equal to x square. Did they give any domain? No. So listen, f of x is equal to x square, the domain is R. But what about the range? Y belongs to 0 to infinity. So it's better you know the domain and the range. Clear? So what is f dash of x? 2x equated to 0 implies x is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, we don't know whether it is the point of minimum or maximum. So you find f double dash of x, which comes out to be 2. So it is independent of x. Hence, we can conclude that it is a positive value. Since it is positive, x equal to 0 will become the point of minimum. And it is obvious from the question itself. It is obvious from the question. Why is it so? Because the coefficient of x square is positive. It will be an upward parabola. Right? So this is how the graph will look like. And where is it getting dipped? It is decreasing and coming to 0 and then again increasing. So this will obviously be the point of minimum, and that's what has happened. Right? So did they ask the minimum value, or they just asking the point? Yeah. Values. So local maximum is attained, local minimum is attained at x is equal to 0. There is no maximum for this. Okay. Then what about the value? F of 0 is equal to 0. So the function value is 0 and the minimum is also taking place at x is equal to 0. I hope it is clear. So do the next one. I want you to try it on your own. See, if you have understood the concept, just proceed. Don't wait for me. Only So what is the next question? X cube minus 3x. So you'll get 3x square minus 3. Right. If you take out 3 common, you will get x square minus 1 is equal to 0. Then what is the value of x? Plus or minus 1? X square minus 1 is x minus 1 into x plus 1. Don't make that mistake. So it is x is equal to plus or minus 1. So there are 2 points. There are 2 critical points. Then what will you do? F double dash 6x. So f double dash of 1 is 6. So 1 is a point of minimum. F double dash of minus 1 is minus 6. So minus 1 is a point of maximum. Panniyada? Seekram. I told the point of maximum and point of minimum. X is equal to 1 is a point of minimum. So the answer would have been, what is the question? X cube minus 3x. Then the answer would have been minus 2. Minimum value is minus 2. Maximum value is minus 1 plus 3, 2. Correct? See, one thing you need to understand is, I find some of you having confusion here. There is a difference between finding the point of local maximum and local minimum. Critical point is not the value itself. So you took minus 1 and 1, no, that is a critical point. But value what you are supposed to do? Take those critical points and substitute it in. Okay, do it. Next. Is there anyone who wants me to do that problem? Clear? No? Okay. Proceed. ಎದ್ರ ಮಾಪ 6x ತರ வரட்டும் -6 வரதுனால தான் அதே ஃபங்க்ஷன் வேல்யூடா. After I found the minimum critical points, I substituted 1 and -1 in the function. Substitute பண்ண எவ்வளவு வரும்? -2. அந்த வேல்யூ நான் ஃபங்க்ஷன் வேல்யூ சொன்னேன். I will tell the critical points. எப்போ நீயே சொல்லு. எந்த நம்பர் சின்னது? வேல்யூ தர -2 and 2 டா. Point of minimum, point. இங்க போடக்கூடாது. இரு நான் அங்க ஸ்டெப்ஸ் எழுதுறேன், அப்படியே பார்த்துக்கோ. எப்படி எழுதணும் எக்ஸாம்லன்னு பார்த்துக்கோ. Guys, do it fast. See, f of x is equal to x cube minus 3x, right? See, the algorithm is very simple. How you are supposed to write in the exam is don't change anything. First step, f dash of x. Then what will you do? Equate it to 0. By doing this, what are you going to get? Sai Kalyan, solla. What will you get by doing this? You will get the... No, tell me what will you get? Critical points. Then what will you do next? F double dash, and in that F double dash, what should you substitute? Substitute each critical point and see. So when you do this, F double dash of a particular value comes out to be 0, sorry, greater than 0. Then what is that critical point said to be? This is what I want. Point of minima. Because I'm using the word critical point again and again. Critical point is a point of minima. Okay. So then the critical point will be, yes. Similarly, if f double dash of something comes out to be less than 0, then it is said to be point of maxima. Then what are you supposed to do? So let's say that the critical point here is C1, and let's say here the critical point is C2. Then what will f of C1 be? What is f of C1? See, C1 is a point of minima. Then what is f of C1? It is minimum value. Are you able to understand the terms? And f of C2 will be maximum value. So in a question, there are only two things that they will ask you. They will either ask you the point, or they'll ask you the minimum or the maximum value. In some question, they can ask you both also. For example, the third one. In third one, if you read the question, what are they asking? Find the local points of minimum and maximum. After that, also find the minimum and maximum values. So in the problem, if I follow the same steps, what is that I need to do? Find f dash of x. It is 3x square minus 3. So it is going to be 3 into x square minus 1. So if I equate it to 0, I get x minus 1 into x plus 1 is 0, which implies x is equal to plus or minus 1. So how many critical points do I have in this problem? 2. So my next job is to find what is happening at f double dash of 1 and what is happening at f double dash of minus 1. So what is f double dash of x in the first place? See, whenever you are finding f double dash of x, you need to find the derivative of that function, which is not simplified by equating it to 0. For example, this is there, no. Some of them, what they do is they take 3 to the other side. You will have x square minus 1, no. They'll differentiate that. Don't do that. In this case, you're saved. But there will be certain problems where you will be stuck. Okay, so what are you supposed to differentiate? After you finding the first derivative, you will have an initial function, no? Differentiate that for the second time. So f double dash of x is how much? 6x. Now what are we supposed to do? F double dash of 1, 6. F double dash of minus 1, minus 6. Are these the minimum and the maximum values? No. They are only helping us to decide whether 1 and minus 1 are the point of minimum or maximum. Since the second derivative value at the critical point 1 is greater than 0, then what can you decide about this 1? It is a point of minimum. Is this point getting registered in your mind? Next time this mistake will not happen. Okay. What about this thing? So f double dash of minus 1 is minus 6, which is less than 0. So minus 1 is the point of maximum, right? So you answered only the first part of the question. You found only the points of local minimum and local maximum. What is the point? 1 and minus 1. Now, what is the second point? You need to find the function values. So what you will do is, you can put the heading as function values so that they understand what you they understand that you understood the concept. Okay, the examiner will be clear on your answer. Okay, so what is the function value here? F of 1. What is f of 1? Minus 2. What is f of minus 1? 2. So obviously, by looking at these two itself, you should be able to decide which one is less and which one is more. So obviously, minimum value will be lesser value. So this is the minimum value. So this can be used to validate whether you have approached right or wrong. So this is the minimum value, and point of minimum is also 1. So minus 1 is, f of minus 1 is 2, and this is the point of maximum. Are you able to understand? Yes. So make a note of this. See this point, write it down. I would suggest you write it at the back of your book so that you will remember whenever you get out. Off பண்ணுமா இருக்கு. See, if you are clear, just proceed. Don't wait for me. Increase your speed. So improve your speed. Are you able to do? Yeah. Sin x plus cos x. Correct. See, you keep doing by regular method. I'll teach you shortcuts. Okay. Those who are online are able to do.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Good. Shall I do the next one? What is the answer for the next one? Not coming up. Minimum value minus 1 by root 2. Function the domain another function. Yeah, domain another function. Sin x plus cos 0 to pi by 2 mattundana. Then you will have pi by 2 1 varas. You have only one value, no? You don't have minimum. They gave both. So sin x plus cos x between 0 to pi by 2. So is the answer given as 1 by root 2 and minus 1 by root 2? Values. 1 by root 2 and 1 minus 1 by root 2. You're telling the point. Values are 1 by root 2 and minus 1 by root 2. Maximum because of the domain restriction. Minimum because the domain is restricted. Okay. See, I told you now I'm going to see. I'll give you all the logics. You know how to solve the problem using the direct method. First, I'll give the logic. Then I'll help you with the direct method if you get stuck. How many of you got the answer? See, it's very simple. Sin x plus cos x. Okay. Let's have this practice in mind. Let's concentrate. Okay. Let's not use pen and paper. Sin x plus cos x. What is the derivative? Cos x minus sin x. That is f dash of x equated to 0. So cos x equal to sin x. Recollect the table. The trigonometric table, which value of cos and sin is the same? That is 45. That is one way of solving. Or when we say cos x is equal to sin x, you can say tan x is equal to 1. You divide both the sides with cos x. Solra purida. Sin x is equal to cos x. Both the sides divided with cos. Tan x is equal to 1. Tan x is equal to 1. X is equal to pi by 4. So second derivative பண்ணுங்க. Why did we take only pi by 4 in this problem? Actually, we didn't take the general solution. அதனால தான் நான் domain பத்தி கேட்டேன். Domain is 0 to pi by 2. They're talking only about the first quadrant. Either, for example, I'll tell you how to solve the question if it is between 0 to pi also. So if the same question comes in exam, don't write only the maximum value and leave it. You need to first ask the question of what is the domain. Domain is important, right? Shall I tell you how to think for these kind of problems? See, all the techniques I'm teaching you, please write it at the end. It will be a quick reference. It will act as a short note. Okay. So listen. Forget about this question. Sin x plus cos x. I will take a general question, where I'm saying if I give you a function f of x is equal to a sin x plus b cos x. What is it? It's a sin x plus b cos x. Everybody listen, especially science students concentrate. This will help in wave optics. Wave optics, I'll be teaching the same concept again. At the time, I'll connect it. Listen. If a question comes like this, then the sum of sin and cos multiplied with a variable can always be converted completely into a sin or completely into a cos. Okay, how you can do that is, if you look at this question, sin x plus cos x, okay, the one that they have given, what are the coefficients here? 1, no. So the coefficients are 1. So what you need to do is, you need to divide this with, any idea? Root 2 and multiply it with root 2. Those in waves chapter I would have taught, those who were a part of last year will know this. Okay, so the same concept is applicable in your 11th waves chapter also. Listen, why I divided with root 2 is, see, after I concentrate, okay, after I explain everything, it will be very simple. I'm just spilling out all the logics that are there in my mind. Okay, so concentrate. At the end, you will understand. You can do it in one step. Okay, so listen. 1 and 1 is there, no? So all that you need to do is look at the coefficients of sin x and cos x, divide and multiply with root of a square plus b square. What should you do? Multiply and divide it with root of a square plus b square. Here, what is a? B. So root of 1 square plus 1 square. That's why I did. Okay. So if I write this as 1 by root 2 times sin x plus 1 by root 2 times cos x. Okay. This 1 by root 2, I can write it in two options. Hi, Kalyan, concentrate. Listen. So I can write it in two ways. I can either write it as sin pi by 4, or I can write it as cos pi by 4. You're free to write it in whatever way you want. Suppose I write this as sin pi by 4 sin x, then this I will write it as cos pi by 4. So one you have to write it in terms of sin, one in terms of cos. So this will be cos pi by 4 cos x. What has happened here? It has become sin a plus b, but what is there outside? You have a root 2 outside. So it's not sin a plus b, it is cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. It is cos of a minus b. It is cos of, I can write it as pi by 4 minus x or x minus pi by 4. Because cos of minus theta is cos theta. But what is there as the coefficient? This root 2 is coming as a tail. Okay, so what did I do? I took this sin x and cos x, sin x plus cos x, converted it to root 2 times cos of pi by 4 minus x. Okay. So whenever you have a coefficient which step? This one. See, this root 2, till here you are clear, no? Okay, this 1 by root 2, I wrote it as sin pi by 4. This 1 by root 2, I wrote it as cos pi by 4. Okay. So this is cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. The formula is cos of a minus b. That's what I wrote. So I can take whichever I want as a and whichever I want as b. So it's cos of pi by 4 minus x. Am I clear till this? Okay. See, one thing I have explained multiple times, that a number multiplied with only sin or cos, you can directly solve the problem using cos of pi by 4 minus x less than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to minus 1. Correct? Huh? So what is the coefficient of cos here? So minus root 2 is less than or equal to cos of pi by 4 minus x is less than or equal to root 2. So what is the minimum value and what is the maximum value? Minus root 2 is the minimum, root 2 is the maximum. But you would have taken minus root 2 into consideration had the domain been between 0 to pi. But since the domain is restricted to first quadrant, you cannot have cos to have a negative value. That is why only root 2 is given in this problem. Is that the answer, by the way? Root 2 is an answer, maximum value. That's what happens. Okay. So I did all this. No, it's not necessary. I told you can do it in one step. You need not sit and do this much. All that you need to do is whenever you see a question of this sort, this for MCQ, okay, listen to this. Calculate root of a square plus b square. Put a plus or minus. Plus value is maximum, minus value is minimum. Done. Are you able to understand? So plus value is maximum, minus is minimum, but you need to be careful with the domain. So if the domain tells you, you need to keep this in mind. Trigonometry, you need to keep only one thing in mind. All silver teacups, I don't use that. So first quadrant, everything is positive. Second quadrant, sine and cos are positive. Third quadrant, second quadrant, sine and cosecant. Third is tan and cot. Fourth is cos and secant. Okay. So if at all in a particular problem, they have restricted the domain to first quadrant, then you will have only maximum value. If they have restricted between first and second quadrant, you will have both maximum and minimum value. Clear? Did you understand? Right? So based on this, we are free to choose our own. You can create your own questions. For example, tomorrow if they give you some other number also. For example, sin x plus root 3 cos x. Tell me the maximum and minimum value. I'm talking only about values, okay? What is the maximum and minimum value? Root of 1 plus 3, 2. So plus or minus 2. Maximum is plus 2, minimum is minus 2. That's it. So you can only find the maximum or minimum values, not the critical points. Purida. Okay. But did you see the reason why I explained this is for you to understand why it is plus or minus root of a square plus b square. It's not a formula. A shortcut. It's only an observation. From here, you can observe and take it. Purida, make a note of it. So all these points, please write it at the end. Write it at the end of your book. So the heading, you can write it as minimum and maximum values for function. Write minimum and maximum values for function. Write this. So can someone summarize what are we supposed to do? Without the whole process, if they give you a sin x plus b cos x, how will you find the maximum and minimum value? Find root of a square plus b square, add a prefix of plus or minus. Plus is maximum value, minus is minimum value. That's it. Is there any other problem of that sort? Answer in that. Both the coefficients are 1. Sin x minus cos. Check பண்ணிக்கோங்க பின்னாடி. Check பண்ணுங்க பின்னாடி. வருதா? புரியுதாடா? So this method, use it only for MCQs, okay? Don't directly write and ask for 4 marks. அப்படியே பேப்பரை தூக்கி அடிப்பாங்க. Okay. Now, since many of you told you couldn't do it through the actual method, I'll show you how you're supposed to do. Those who got it can proceed to the next one. What is the question number? Third. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for the third one, f of x is equal to sin x plus cos x. Right. What is that we need to do? F dash of x is equal to cos x minus sin x. So equating it to 0, we get x is equal to, actually you will get, I'll tell you what you will get. Okay. Listen to this. Listen. You will actually write pi by 4. What is 2 pi plus pi by 4? Or sorry. So pi by 4, then how much will you complete? Yeah. How much is it? 2 pi plus pi by 4. Actually, see, to put it simple, you will get tan x is equal to 1. Okay. I'm not sure, you would have not learned this, but the general solution for tan x is equal to 1 is anybody? Let me see how many of you know it actually. It is n pi plus pi by 4. Third quadrant, tan 3 by, oh, so n, it will be 5 pi by 4. So this is the general solution, n pi plus pi by 4. Okay. So it will be pi by 4, 5 pi by 4. Then keep adding pi to it. 9 pi by 4. So it keeps on going like this. Okay. You should use this when there is no restriction on the domain. When there is no restriction on the domain, this is how you need to proceed. But in this problem, since there is a restriction between 0 to pi by 2, I will take only this value. Okay. Then what I will do is I'll do f double dash of x. So for f double dash of x, I told you no, you should not differentiate tan x because tan x is a manipulated value. I got the tan x only because of that 0. Had I not substituted the 0, I would have not got tan x. This is one common mistake people do. So don't differentiate tan x, rather differentiate this one. So which is minus sin x minus cos x. So obviously when you're going to substitute pi by 4, this is negative value, there is negative value. This will be less than 0. So at pi by 4, it will be a point of maximum. That is why you have only maximum for this problem. So what is f of pi by 4 then? Take this, substitute it here. 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2, which is 2 by root 2. So 2 by root 2 is root 2. Understood? Okay. So same procedure do for the next problem. Sin x minus cos x. Hold on. Yes, you need to take. See, had there been no restriction on the domain, you need not take all these values. You need to take the values for one cycle. So simpler solana, whatever is happening at pi by 4 will happen at 9 pi by 4 also. And pi by 4 add a 2 pi and see 9 pi by. So pi by 4 falls in first quadrant. 9 pi by 4 also falls in first quadrant. So there is no point in checking the same point 2 times. Similarly, 5 pi by 4 falls in the third quadrant. And what happens to 13 pi by 4? So to 5 pi by 4, add a 2 pi. Obviously, the 5 pi by 4 plus pi, it is 2 pi. Again, it will come back to the third quadrant. So there is no point in checking the same point twice. Okay. So whenever the domain is not restricted, let's say that it is between, for example, let's take this example itself. Had they given the question as sin x plus cos x, so what they gave is between 0 to pi by 2. That is why we took only pi by 4. Had they given it as 0 to pi, what should I take? If it is between 0 to pi, I don't have 3 pi by 4 here, no. If it is between 0 to pi, also, you will still take only pi by 4. Why? Because this 5 pi by 4 is falling greater than pi. Similarly, if it is between 0 to 3 pi by 2, had they given it like this, 0 to 3 pi by 2 means first quadrant to third quadrant, what should I take? Then I will take pi by 4 and 5 pi by 4. Did you understand when you are supposed to consider the values? See, this decision making is the most important part. Okay. So for that, you need to have grip on the domain and the range. Clear with this? So make a note. This is 19 maximum. In the problem, that x cube minus x square. That other one you have to do with normal, but there is no shortcut for that. Here? Okay. So for sin x minus cos x, what is the critical point? So sin x derivative is cos x minus sin x. Now you are getting, sorry, sin x minus cos x, cos x minus sin x. Okay, sin cos plus sin is equal to 0. So cos is equal to minus sin x. It happens in the second and the fourth quadrant. So it happens in the second and the fourth quadrant. Why? I told you, no, sin x is equal to minus cos x. Where does sin and cos have opposite signs? Second and fourth. So that is one way, or you divided the cos on both the sides. You will get tan x is equal to minus 1. So where is tan negative? Second and fourth. So tan x is equal to minus 1. Now what is the first value? 3 pi by 4. So adukapram put it here. What will you write the general solution as? N pi plus 3 pi by 4 போட்டுருங்க. So adukapram to the 3 pi by 4 keep adding pi. That will give you the general solution. So if you take it in one cycle, you will get 3 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4. Did you get them? Yeah. So you'll get 3 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4. But is there any restriction on the domain? 0 to 2 pi la appa rendu value edutha podum. So pi by 4, sorry, 3 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4. Adala check panikom. Okay. So we'll stop with this for today. See, next class, statement problems in Varlal. So if we start, yeah, the statement problems are starting from 13. So don't worry, we'll solve them. Purida.
Thank you, sir.
Can you write it at home and upload? See, those who are online are able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir.
we'll wind up. Okay. We'll wind up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. See, only thing is, when most of you are not able to come to the test, no, most of you are informing me I'm not the right person, and information will not go to the people who are actually taking care of it. So there is a Google form being sent, no. If you are not writing, fill it there itself, so that we'll have a clarity. We'll monitor that. Based on that only, we'll take the number of printouts. So you need not tell me about whether you are coming for the test or not. If at all you have anything, if you need half an hour time or something, I'm repeating, I'm not the right person to contact. So you have numbers now already, so you can keep them informed. They'll assist you. Okay. Why I'm saying is information anga poga. Class kapra I will have other class, I'll forget. Seriya? So I pass panadi. Follow. One and 5 is 5. Don't go back. Okay, one thing go to it. But the problem is not up to 10 lakh, 5 lakh, 3 5. அது வந்து பிரின்சிபல் வேல்யூ சொல்லுவாங்க. தேவையானதெல்லாம் டெலீட் பண்ணி கொடுத்தாங்க. இன்வெர்ஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷன் கூட பிடிக்கலாம். Okay.